imagine how good that would be.
Back towards goal, hits the post, but tapped in, and there's Sam Bell.
Naismith slides in corner, that'll do it.
And he'll make an impact right away. He'll try.
Oh, yes! Tommy Crawford's only gone and done it again.
Another Saturday, another match day. Bristol City have arrived in South Yorkshire to face Sheffield Wednesday. And here on Robins TV, we'll bring you all the action from Hillsborough for sure. Liam Manning's boys are going to be looking to bounce back after a disappointing defeat to Queen's Park Rangers last week. But it was Rob Dickey's second half goal that secured the 3 points for City against the Owls earlier in the season. And no doubt the lads will want to complete the double today. Our opponents, what about them? Well, they currently sit second from bottom in the table, 3 points behind QPR. Well, a very good afternoon and welcome to Robins TV live from our studio here at Ashton Gate. Thanks so much for having us on today. And joining me is City defender Cal Naismith. Cal, welcome back. Thanks for coming to Robins TV. What's the mood in the camp like at the moment?
It's been good. I would say we're in good form. Obviously 2 wins out of the last 3, but then, disappointed recently with the result. Obviously at QPR at home, we're coming off the back of Middlesbrough away in Southampton. It's 2 incredible results, and then you go into that full of confidence, but that's the Championship. When you get a little bit too much confidence, it just brings you back down maybe, and we started well in that game, and then QPR came at us, and we just didn't react well enough, and look, they won the game. But that's the Championship, and any day anyone can beat anyone. So look, we're confident because they 2 results that we did get aren't far behind us. But yeah, we want to come out and put QPR to rest.
You are a really tight bunch, you guys. You can tell that just from what we see on social media and what you guys tell us. How do you pick each other up after a game like that?
It is tough. All players deal with it differently. Some players like to get it out in the change room after the game and have a shout and put demands on each other as well as yourself and talk it out there and then. Some people like to go and dwell on it and speak to their families, I guess, about it and have a day off and reflect and come back. But the manager's huge on what's been has been, and once you're back in that training ground on Monday morning, whenever it is, then it's behind you and what can you do to improve on that, and going forward it's about the next result. So he's kind of ingrained that into us, that once it's done, let's move on now.
Well, let's do exactly that and talk about the game today. What can you tell us about the preparations for this game that have been happening this week?
Not as much as I would like to. Obviously I'd like to be on the pitch with the lads in training, but I sit in the meetings, and it's the same with every single game we go into. The manager's got his plan. It's meticulous. He shows us areas where we can hurt them, areas where they're dangerous, and I know what it's going to take, but it's, again, as I say, anyone can beat anyone. People look at the league table and say Sheffield Wednesday, we should go and beat them, but it's tough. They're fighting for their lives. It's a crucial stage of the season now. There's not many games left, and they're fighting to stay in the league, so it'll be as tough place to go. But yeah, I know that if the boys turn up and we do what we can do, then yeah, we'll be looking to get the 3 points.
All right, Cal, for now, thank you very much. Cal's going to stay with us with his expert knowledge throughout the rest of today. And we're also going to be heading up to South Yorkshire on the way very shortly indeed to hear from the gaffer. But first of all, with the latest team news, we'll say good afternoon for the first time to Toby Osborne.
Good afternoon, Downsy. Good afternoon, everybody. Yes, despite some rumours the Owls would return to a back 4, Danny Roll has stuck with the side who turned over Millwall at the Den last weekend. From front to back, Ike Ugbo keeps his spot. He now has 3 goals in 6 since joining in January. Last time out, the Owls played a midfield 4 with Barry Bannon at the heart of it, approaching 400 games for Wednesday. In defence, Deshaun Bernard joined from Manchester United in the summer, having been released after just 1 appearance for the club. He is surrounded by an abundance of experience in Palmer, Ihikwe and Johnson. Senegalese defender Bambo Diaby is on the bench alongside Malik Wilkes. For Bristol City, it's a lot of changes. 5 in total, 2 in the fullback positions, with more familiar sight of Cam Pring and George Tanner returning to the starting 11. Taylor Gardner-Hickman provides fresh legs in midfield for Matty James, with the armband heading Jason Knight's way. Sadly, Sam Bell's season looks as though it's over, so it's a timely return, of course, for Mark Sykes. He played a few minutes against QPR, but starts today. Leading the line will be Tommy Conway, with Naki Wells dropping down to the bench. No Scott Twine today, he's absent, but on the bench for the Reds, another spot for Dire Mabudi. Right, let's head over and hear from the manager at Hillsborough. It's Liam Manning.
Liam, 5 changed today, starting with Mark Sykes. How excited are you to name him the starting 11?
Yeah, he's obviously had to be a little bit patient. And again, some of that's just obviously reintegrating him. But again, I think it's a good opportunity, and looking forward to having his quality back in the side, because just before his injury, Watford jumps to mind. Obviously, the level he was at, I was really pleased, and hopefully he can pick up where he left off.
At right back, we see George Tanner come in. Ross McCrory's been brilliant as well. Is it a case with that position, depending on the opponent, depending on the game, how we play?
Yeah, a combination of everything. I think we've got depth. I think you have to use the competition. I think people ultimately need to put the team first and be ready to step in when called upon. Southampton, obviously, Ross came on and did a terrific job, obviously, in doing what the team needed to get us through the game. Obviously, a great moment for the goal. And, I know Ross is going to come on and be needed today. So, as with all the lads, and I have to say they've been brilliant at that. We know we need to make tweaks and changes and, different plans, different things for different games. But, it's ultimately, whatever we pick, making sure that whoever's on the pitch does their best.
Unfortunately, no place in the squad for Matty James nor Scott Twine. Can you give us an update on those?
Yeah, Jamo, you could see in the game last week he was limping a little bit. He's nothing major. We've had it scanned. He's had some treatment this week on his Achilles. It's nothing of huge concern. Hopefully he'll be back training at the back end of next week. So disappointing obviously to lose him, but at the same point we have to make sure that we have him available for as many as possible between now and the end of the season. And then similar with Twiney trained terrifically well on Tuesday. Trained on Thursday, but it felt a little bit tired in that area. We've scanned it. There's nothing major there. So again, hopefully with him, it's just a case of an extra few days.
Big venue here, big occasion. I'm sure the fans from Sheffield Wednesday will be right behind their team from the first minute. How much of it is about getting out on that front foot from the first minute and putting our stamp on the game?
Yeah, I think it's earning the right to do that. I think with any game you have to run, you have to fight, you have to compete, you have to be intelligent with some of the decisions you make early on, and I think you have to earn the right to control games. Difficult place to come, with the atmosphere of the pitch, but ultimately it's us v them, 11v11, and ultimately we have to make sure that we're willing to outrun them, we're willing to outfight them, and then we show our quality.
We certainly did that in our last away fixture to Middlesbrough. Are you looking for the same performance today?
Yeah, I think the game might look different, but I think when we talk about the behaviours and basics, that's where it needs to be. So yeah, it was a terrific performance at Middlesbrough, and hopefully we can follow that up today.
Liam Manning chatting to Ryan Morgan there for Robins TV. Cal, lots of changes, 5 changes. Does that cause a bit of disruption? I guess you guys play with each other all the time up at the training ground, so you're used to playing with each other. But it's 5 quite a lot of changes today. What sort of impact will that have?
It is, but I don't think it'll be too much of a disruption in terms of if it's lads coming in for debuts or lads that have been out for a long time and they're coming back in, then it can be. But the boys you've got coming back in, Pring, Sykes, are 2 that jump out. Delighted to have them back. They're real top players that'll add quality. Look, there's good players missing, but yeah, as I say, the players that went in, they're top players. There's no lads getting in there and make their debut. So with a real tight squad, and no, I don't think it'll make too much of a difference.
I wonder if we'll put our graphics people on the spot here, see if we can get the team back up. Can you talk us a little bit through the formation for today? Is that how you see it playing out?
Well, yeah, so I've obviously been in the meetings and kind of know what's going on, and yeah, I guess I can mention it now because hopefully Sheffield Wednesday won't see it, and if they do, they won't have too much time to plan for it anyway. But what I think we'll see is we'll see Tanner a little bit more narrow with Viner and Dickey. Pringy obviously using his pace and athleticism at left wing back up and down, and then Sykes more of that right wing back role. But I think that's what we'll see. Knighty will come out to the right a bit more. Mm-hmm. But the manager's, he's always on, is about being flexible. So different areas of the pitch, you'll see different shapes. If the ball's on the right hand side, Pringy will go high and press, and you'll see Sykes probably drift round into a right back position. And so we'll go for a 5 to a 4, 3 to a 5, whatever you want to call it. But yeah, I think you'll see George initially starting as a back three with Zach and Rob and Sykesy on that right wing back position with Pring in the left.
And when we go through the games, one of the things I see from the touchline from where I stand is there's quite a lot, if substitutions are made, there's quite a lot of iPad action and players being shown an iPad, and Pat Mountain's got quite a lot of notes. What's going on there?
So when you're going on the pitch, you just need to be as well prepared as any. One, it's hard enough to go into a game because it's so fast paced in the Championship. You don't realise until you're on the bench and you come on and it hits you. It looks like you can go on and handle it easily, but once you go on, it's very fast moving, and you need to know all the details. Pat Mountain will give you every single detail in terms of the set pieces. It might be you're going on in, say I was coming on for Zach Viner, I would just take Zach's man, but sometimes it's not the case. Sometimes it might be, right, push Zach onto a different man, or push Rob Dickie onto a different man, push Tails to the front post, you do his job. So there's a lot of rejigging going on, so you need to know every single little bit of detail. As you're usually going on with half an hour to go, 20 minutes to go, and it's crucial timing in the game in terms of getting a result. So yeah, the more information you can get for the side, the better. I find all that fascinating. And you're saying Liam's a real details man as well? Yeah, he'll leave no stone unturned. He won't go into anything by chance. Everyone's as much effort and time that he can put into it, he'll put into it, and then as much effort that he can put across to us without overdoing it or overcramming us, he'll give us every single bit of detail that he possibly can. So yeah, he's massive on that, and as I say, as you've seen for results and recent results especially, and then in the FA Cup, the run we had against the better teams where you need to set up and be so structured and so detailed, then the manager's, he's different class at that. It always seems to get it spot on.
Let's talk about you for a bit. How are you? How's the recovery coming along? Obviously, we'd much prefer you to be out there rather than sat in here.
Yeah, I feel like this is a question I get asked every time, every 2 or 3 weeks, and yeah, I just kind of, for the past year now, I always say I'm 2 weeks away, but I think I am genuinely about 2 weeks away. I'm not far, so it's good. I've been training a lot. I was out for obviously a long spell, missed a good part of pre-season as well, so just when you're kind of looking at it as a whole, I've got a lot to catch up on, so that's why the staff have been taking it more slow with me. I played in a reserve game last week, 45 minutes, so that was nice, and then just continuing training, and hopefully I'll be at a place in a week or two to really come back and try and have an impact and help the team.
Those games keep ticking away. Only 13 games to go, 10 points gap for those playoff places. Is that still where Bristol City are aiming for?
It is. I can only speak for myself. There's not much talk internally, I'll be honest. It's more the manager's massive, as I say, is on day by day, improving every single day, getting the max out of yourself, and that is a byproduct. If you do that, you will be successful and you will get to these stages. So I think that's his thinking. But as a footballer, you've always got to aim there, so it wouldn't surprise me if all the lads, that is their goal. We know that's where we want to be. So look, it is a big gap. There's a lot of teams above us, but look, you can go on a run in this league. But the QPR was disappointing because we got ourselves in such a good position. If we go and win that, we're going into today, and then a couple of wins and you can get excited. But I like the way the manager does it, because you tend to win a couple of games in the Championship and you think you've cracked it and you think you're there and you can get carried away, whereas just improve day by day, and byproduct to that, you will eventually get to where you need to be.
Good stuff. Sage word of advice. Cal, for now, thank you very much. More from Cal on the way a little bit later on. Next up, we are going to be talking about two Bristol City legends, a brand new piece of artwork in Bristol. Stand by for that, and of course all of the action from Hillsborough this afternoon. It's Robins TV. We'll catch up with you in just a couple of minutes. Welcome back to Robins TV, live from Ashton Gate, from our studio here, for all of the coverage you need for Bristol City's trip to Hillsborough, and more from Cal Naismith on the way very shortly indeed, who's with us in the studio. First of all, and I realise this might be difficult for our overseas viewers, but if you have walked to Ashton Gate lately past the Rising Sun pub, you may have noticed a piece of new artwork, and it contains the images of two absolute Bristol City legends, Lewis Carey and Jeff Merrick. Let's take a look at this.
It's a huge honour captaining the football club, let alone being then on the walls around Bristol, and I suppose very humbling the fact that people would even suggest you go up there, or people would even put their own hard-earned money into investing in somebody to create the artwork. And I think the humbling side of it is huge, and when you see it, it is a scary thing to think that is you and that was the past, but it's also great to be sharing a pitch finally, I suppose, with Jeff.
This was my life. Bedminster was my life. I mean, from the age of 4 or 5 down here playing football and mixing with Chris Garland and all the Bedminster people. Such a wonderful atmosphere. Back then in the sort of late 50s, early 60s, it was something really, really special. So to be recognised and to be in a place like this is as good as it gets.
Well, Bristol is made up, isn't it, from the docks work years ago, and now it's all the investment side of everything, and also the street art with Banksy and people like that making it really famous. Is a creative city, and the amazing work that Chris Bradfield and Neil Palmer have done to try and create this around Bristol and around the football ground area, I think is huge, because whatever we say, football is about the community. I'll always go back to I love doing what I love doing where I love doing it, and that was the whole reason for wanting to be at Bristol, wanting to get them into the Premier League. And the history, what was before us and what they did in the 70s, and the huge achievements with that. It was something we always wanted to emulate. We got very close on a couple of occasions. Unfortunately, a kick away against Hull City, but it wasn't to be. And I suppose I can now go up there and be stood next to somebody who did do it.
I think that it looks wonderful. I think it's great. I think that, how they do these things, I don't know. I was in the building trade for 35 years. I know all about rendering, I know all about painting, but I never managed to paint people. So I think it's stunning. I think it's really good, and I'm sure that there will be lots of people come and see Lewis and I. The captain's fantastic. I thought that was great.
Yeah, somebody said to me earlier to be on one wall, like there's 1,000 appearances from people who are from the BS area, and then I think looking across the road at Chris again, who had many appearances and done amazing things for the city, and then in between us the one of Banksy. So yeah, I'm in really good company, and like I said, really honoured to be in that company and really humbled to be in that company, and it's brilliant that it can be sort of shown off to the next generation of fans. Getting the picture of me, lucky enough I got hair back in the day, so is all good. But I think it's really creative and it's different that they've done it in a sort of cartoon comic style. You haven't seen that too often around, so I think the work that Spike's done is brilliant, and long may it continue around the rest of
Absolute legends of the game. Are we going to have a mural of you one day, Nosey?
An appearance would be good.
Oh dear. Listen, today is a big game for both sides. We're striving to perhaps close the gap on those promotional places, and Wednesday looking to avoid the drop. Let's take a look through some of the potential dangers today, or perhaps opportunities. And there are times, Cal, when Sheffield Wednesday can perhaps be a bit too casual, and this is something that we can really impose ourselves on today.
Yeah, look, you see it here. The goalkeeper, he actually played with the manager. I think it was at MK Dons, and he likes to play out. We know that he does like to play, but he can be caught in between there. There's some players, as you can see, going to the ball and looking to play, but there's not many others making angles, so they're caught a little bit in between, and that could be the fact that the new manager's in the door. He's been there a while now, but he's still trying to implement his style, and it is hard to pick up straight away. So when we played them at our place, they were very well set up, very well organised, so we're expecting that, but they should have come on a little bit now in terms of attractive play. But I honestly believe, sitting watching us, that we are one of the best pressing sides in the league. So if they do play, I think it will play into our hands, because when you've got energy like Tommy Conway, Jason Knight, Mark Sykes, Pringy in terms of their pressing, it's, for me, as I say, it's one of the best in the league.
Well, talking of that, let's take a look at some of our potentials for today. This is real great sort of link-up play here, isn't it, between Naki and Tommy?
I think you'll see this a lot. This is something we work on. If you see Harry Colnick's run out of picture, his run to drag the left centre-half across when we play against a back three, and then Naki knows straight away just to run into that gap. And as you see, Naki and Tommy, they get on great off the pitch. On the pitch, they don't get to play together as much, but they're going to have that connection, and Tommy does excellent there, actually. To get, I'm always telling him to be selfish in the box and just get that half yard and get a shot off. And he's unlucky, but they two, they're not starting together, but if they end up on the pitch at the end together, then they can definitely create something.
It always helps, I guess, if you do get on, with the people and have that relationship, because it's almost, you don't really have to think about it then.
I feel that. I feel when you're closer with someone, when you're tight with someone, it's not always the case, because in football we can't always be best mates, but when you do have that connection, in particular if two of you are attackers, or for example if two of you are centre halves, and you've got that communication, that it's just it makes it better.
Let's talk about Sheffield Wednesday again. A big threat. Who should we be watching out for today?
I think the man you're going to hear is the threat's always the one that puts it in the back of the net, and as you see the boy here, he's not too much movement. For me, Poveda on the ball is fantastic. Jinky, I played against him before, he was at Blackburn, and he seems top, but there's a big man. That's what strikers do. They just find that little bit of space in the box. There's never a lot, but they'll find it wherever it is, and he's on form. He scored a few goals for them. He seems an athletic, powerful boy, technically good player, so they would be the two for me. Poveda, who you see there, jinking and creating the goal, and Ugbo up top. And also, I would need to mention Barry Bannon, who, we know him. He's been about long enough to know that if you give him time and space on it, then he'll pick anyone out. Here he is again, just Barry Bannon, time and space, doesn't get pressed whatsoever, finds a pass, and then it gets stood up at the back post. And as I say, he's a powerful boy. I don't expect him to do that to Cameron Pring, but he is a powerful boy, and if he isolates you at the back post, then he's going to fancy his chances.
Good stuff. All right, Cal, for now, thank you very much. We'll have more from Cal a little bit later on. He'll be joining Toby in the commentary booth. Thank you very much for watching Robins TV. If you've been watching on YouTube and Facebook, it's time to say goodbye to you. You can, of course, pick up a Robins TV audio pass, should you want one, at bcfc.co.uk, or follow the game on the club's social media. Thank you very much for watching YouTube and Facebook. We'll see you again next time.